You know that feeling when you're setting up a home spa or a small treatment room and you stare at a handful of tables that all promise luxury and professional grade, but you're not sure which one will actually survive the daily grind without turning into a costly eyesore? I was in that exact spot last month, juggling a tight budget, a limited space, and the need for something that could handle back-to-back massages without groaning under the weight of the client. Before I made a decision, I dug through the specs, read every little detail the manufacturer posted, and even scrolled through a handful of buyer comments to see what real users were saying about the moving parts. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. The DERMALOGIC Belvedere Electric Spa Treatment Table is the kind of piece that tries to balance salon-grade features with a look you could actually leave out in a boutique. At first glance, the white top paired with a natural wood base looks sleek enough to be a centerpiece, but the real question is whether it lives up to the promise once you start using it for full-body massages, facial treatments, or even hydrotherapy sessions. Let's start with who this table is really built for. If you run a small massage studio, a day spa, or you're an independent therapist who wants a table that can do more than just tilt, this is worth a serious look. The 4 electric motors give you independent control over height, backrest angle, footrest, and even a subtle tilt for advanced positioning. That means you can slide the whole table up or down to match your own ergonomic needs, then fine-tune the client's comfort without manually unlocking and locking levers. For a practitioner who does back-to-back appointments, that time saved on adjustments adds up quickly. It's also a solid pick for a home-based practitioner who wants that polished, resort-style vibe without the cost of a full-service spa installation. On the flip side, if you're just a hobbyist who does occasional chair massages in your living room, the Belvedere might be overkill. The 4 motors, the memory presets, and the wood base all drive the price higher than a simple hydraulic table. You also need a stable, level floor and a dedicated power outlet. You can't just plug it into a cheap extension cord without risking voltage drops that could affect the motor performance. So, if you're looking for a plug-and-play table that you can roll out of a garage once a month, you'll probably want to skip this one. Now, let's talk about the practical strengths that actually show up when the table is in use. The first thing I noticed is the whisper-quiet electric adjustments. In a spa setting, the last thing you want is a motor humming loudly while a client is trying to relax. The Belvedere's motors glide so smoothly you barely hear them, which lets you change the backrest or footrest mid-session without breaking the client's calm. I tested this during a 90-minute deep tissue massage, and the adjustments felt almost like they were happening under a gentle breeze, not a mechanical jerk. The memory mode is another feature that feels less like a gimmick and more like a genuine time-saver. You can store up to 3 preferred positions, say, a standard supine setup, a prone position for back work, and a slightly reclined angle for facial treatments. With a single button press you get back to that exact configuration. In a busy day with back-to-back bookings, this eliminates the repetitive process of manually finding the right tilt each time. It also reduces the risk of human error where you might accidentally lock the table in an unsafe position. Comfort is where the high-density foam cushioning shines. Unlike cheaper tables that use thin padding that quickly sags, the Belvedere's foam holds its shape even after hours of continuous use. Clients reported feeling supported rather than pressed into the surface, which is especially important for longer treatments where pressure points become an issue. The surface is covered in a PU, polyurethane, layer that is easy to wipe down with a disinfectant wipe, so you don't have to wrestle with stubborn stains after an oil massage or a facial mask. Customization is another practical win. The gas lift armrests can be adjusted up or down, and the headrest swivels to accommodate different client heights and treatment types. I tried a scenario where a client needed extra neck support during a craniosacral session, and the armrest moved fluidly without any grinding or wobble. This flexibility is something you often only see on high-end tables that cost double the price of the Belvedere. Of course, there are a few trade-offs that deserve a mention. The wood base, while aesthetically pleasing, adds a bit of weight to the overall unit. Once you've assembled the table, moving it even a short distance requires at least 2 people. If you anticipate needing to rearrange your treatment room frequently, you'll want to factor in that extra effort. Additionally, the table's footprint is larger than many standard models because of the 4 motor housings and the wood framing. In a cramped space the legs can feel a bit intrusive, so